Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Reach out to me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing. Today we're discussing a 2022 model year launch. This is the Tudor Black Bay Pro, a watch that fuses the tradition of the Black Bay aquatic watch with the aesthetic of the original 1971 1655 Rolex Explorer 2. And that's Tudor's role in the Rolex Tudor empire. It is the brand that will do homage watches, retro watches, watches that immediately and viscerally play to senses of nostalgia. So, taking a quick look at this watch, it's wearable at 39 millimeters in diameter in stainless steel, 14.8 millimeters thick. It is 47.6 millimeters from lug tip to lug tip, and if you measure the end links, which are pivoted but somewhat rigid, the total distance across the wrist is 51.2 millimeters with a 20 millimeter spacing between the lugs. Now, I've reviewed this watch before on straps, but here for the first time we're going to see it on the factory stainless steel bracelet. On my wrist, which is 16 centimeters in circumference, you get a good sense of its size. It is fairly compact, though it's not thin like a Black Bay 58. 39 millimeter case size is outstanding. Just keep in mind that this is based on an MT 5600 movement platform, so it is going to be a little bit thicker like the in-house caliber 41 millimeter Black Bays. So the watch is of such a size that I would recommend it, at least on the bracelet, for a wrist of 15 centimeters circumference and up. You could wear it on a wrist of 14 centimeters circumference if it were on the strap. Take a quick look, you can see it's not terribly thick, but it's not thin either. It should fit underneath jacket cuffs. And again, my wrist is 16 centimeters in circumference. Taking a quick look at the bracelet, this is the first time we see it on the Black Bay Pro, on this channel at least. It has a skeuomorphic sort of simulated rivet design with the actual removable links fixed in place by screws. And you can see there are screws for removing links on both sides, quite a few of them, so you have your options. We also have what Tudor calls the T-fit clasp, and the way this works is you can see, like Rolex's glide lock that you find on the Yachtmaster 42 and the dive watches, you have incremental detents for a total of 8 millimeters of sliding scale adjustment. Taking a quick look at the clasp itself, it's made of thick gauge steel, and it has a single folding swing arm. You see there are some ceramic pin snaps built in. Spring-loaded ceramic pin snaps help to maintain the tight, snappy tolerances of the clasp, because over time the steel cannot wear down the ceramic. We've got a clamshell lock, and you can see it features a little Tudor shield logo, plus a kerf so you can dig your nail in and pop it open. Note the double finish, both polish and satin. Rolling around the case, we have conforming end links to better harmonize the interaction and junction of bracelet and case flank. We have little bevels on the edges of the lugs, reminding us of a time when Rolex and Tudor shared cases, and particularly the Rolex and Tudor Submariners had hand-laid bevels on their lugs. Well, those are long gone on Rolex watches. Here they're applied mechanically, but they're still handsome and attractive, and a nod to the way we were. Polished case flank. You can see we have satin finished lug hoods, and then the element that's most distinctive of the old Explorer 2 is the 24-hour bezel with a radial satin finish achieved via a lapping machine. We have a Tudor Rose logo on the crown. That's the mid-1968 and prior logo. And then on the dial we have the shield logo, which is from mid-1968 forward. The dial has a couple of nostalgic elements with the snowflake-inspired hands, and then in color, if not in shape, we have the orange arrow 24-hour hand from the original Explorer 2s. And what appears to be, at first glance, a printed dial reveals itself to be an applique index dial, but we have these solid cuts of luminescent material in an ecru tone that matches the printing on the dial, the varnishing of the hands, as well as the vintage chaptering. And in a sign of good taste and an eye for detail, Tudor has ensured that the date disc is that same ecru color. You can see we have a faded depth rating, 200 meters. That's not exactly 660 feet, but close enough. Taking a quick look at the dial base, it has a vintage look, being matte black, anti-reflective, and we have a generously domed sapphire. So far, Tudor isn't getting into the neo-vintage plexiglass play. They have a sapphire here that gives you sapphire scratch resistance, but with some of the off-axis distortion and wobble of a vintage plexiglass. Let's do a quick lume shot. You can see despite the ecru luminescence, there is no loss of luminescent intensity. So we have that vintage fade look, but all four hands, both hours, the minute hand and the seconds hand, fully lumed. Also, it's fun to see just how much height those applique indices have above the dial in the dark. Taking a quick look, you can see that the watch includes both independent 24 and 12-hour hands, so you can jump the date forward or backwards as you travel. It doesn't stop the watch, it doesn't move the minute hand or the secondary 24-hour hand. Now that 24-hour hand moves at half the speed of the local hour hand, so it makes one circuit of the dial every day. Taking a quick look at the reverse side of the watch, I'll do my best to open everything up for you right here. And it is a solid case back. There's not much to see. It tells you that it is a Tudor, made in Geneva, and that it has a manufacturer movement. But what I can tell you is that it has the same caliber as the Black Bay GMT. So the MT5652 automatic winding winds on a ball bearing mounted rotor, 70-hour power reserve, stop seconds. We have the 12 and 24-hour independent time zones. Beats away at 8 beats per second. It is adjusted in 5 positions. It is a COSC certified Swiss chronometer. It has a free sprung balance and a full balance bridge for shock resistance. And it has a silicone hairspring for anti-magnetic qualities, all of that pivoting on 26 joules. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details of this Tudor Black Bay Pro in stainless steel.